is your ABC 10 News Streamline. Everything you need to know in 10 minutes or less. It is day 31 of the government shutdown, and President Trump is turning up the pressure. He's calling it the nuclear option. Trump says Republicans should get rid of the Senate filibuster and change the rules to reopen the government with a simple majority vote instead of the 60 votes they need now. This comes as SNAP benefits are on the verge of lapsing for nearly 42 million Americans, and more federal workers lose out on their paycheck. On Capitol Hill, Democrats and Republicans continue to play the blame game.
Republicans have the nerve to admit before the American people that ripping away SNAP benefits from 16 million children in this country and more than 1 million veterans is a pressure tactic.
Republicans want to pass a clean stopgap funding bill, but Democrats are refusing to budge with cuts to Medicaid and health care subsidies, a major sticking point. Across the federal government, roughly 1.4 million workers have already gone without pay, and more than 750,000 are on furlough. Search and rescue teams from California are on their way to Jamaica after the island was ravaged by Hurricane Melissa. Homes, schools, and businesses were wiped away when storm surges as high as 16 feet swept in. People are trying to dig away at the mud and rubble covering the towns. Much of the island is still without power. The death toll from Hurricane Melissa continues rising, with at least 49 people killed across Jamaica, Cuba, Haiti, and other Caribbean nations. The FBI has fired a special agent connected to the investigation of President Trump. Aaron Tapp was the special agent in charge of the FBI's San Antonio office. He helped oversee the investigation into Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 presidential election. That included an alleged fake elector scheme. Republicans released FBI records showing details of that investigation and accused the FBI's leaders of political motives. Tapp has been with the agency for more than 20 years.
Federal agents say they have busted a major drug trafficking and bribery scheme, and the suspects are members of law enforcement. 2 county sheriffs and 12 officers were indicted in Mississippi. They're accused of a years-long conspiracy to traffic drugs for a Mexican cartel in exchange for money. The FBI says those officers provided safe passage for the drugs. Some are even accused of escorting the drugs across state lines. The officers accused have not yet entered a plea. Their lawyers have not commented. Generation X is the next in line to retire after the baby boomers, but a lot of Gen X workers are getting pummeled by a retirement reality check. Scripps News Group's national correspondent Holly Furfer looks at some of the growing concerns about getting ready for retirement and what workers can do to catch up.
Americans, including retirees, are juggling financial challenges.
Prices keep going up, and I'm retired, and my income's not going up as fast.
Which is why people closing in on retirement should not glaze over reports warning that many workers are underprepared. Among them, Bankrate, which found 3 in 5 people feel behind on retirement savings.
There is, I would say, a high degree of awareness about the challenge. Then comes the question, well, what are we going to do about that?
Bankrate's Mark Hamrick says if you have an employer-sponsored savings program, take advantage of an employer match.
That's money, if you don't take advantage of that, you're truly leaving on the table.
Sabino Vargas is a senior financial advisor with Vanguard, which found 42% of Americans are currently on track to achieving retirement security.
We believe we're seeing strong progress, and that's mostly because of access to 401k plans.
But he says there's room for improvement for baby boomers and Gen Xers approaching retirement age.
What I would encourage them to begin to analyze is how do catch-up contributions fit into their plan, eliminating any high-interest debt.
Consumer and money-saving expert Andrea Warrock encourages parents to shift their priorities, even if that means putting less money into their child's college fund.
Your children can take a loan out for college, and you can help them pay that off later, but you can't take a loan out for retirement.
To put away extra money for retirement, she says, look for every savings opportunity to cut your monthly bills, like bundling your insurance, dining out less, and evaluating your cell phone plan.
So start figuring out where you can cut back.
Feeling ready for retirement and being ready are 2 different things. So experts recommend working with a financial advisor to prepare a game plan. If you still feel behind, consider working a few years longer or even part-time.
Do you have a hobby or a skill that you can promote?
Even if you're a year away from retiring, Hamrick says there's always an opportunity to do better.
Every bit of incremental improvement that you make in this process is going to make a difference.
Holly Furfer, Scripps News Group.
The Trump administration is capping the number of refugees allowed into the U.S. Only 7,500 people will be allowed in for the coming year, and most of the slots have been reserved for white South Africans. It's a record low and a big drop from the 125,000 limit set by the Biden administration. Major scandal for the British royal family. The king's brother Andrew is stripped of the title of prince. He will now be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. His title was taken away over the former prince's ties to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. One victim, Virginia Giuffre, claimed that Epstein trafficked her for sex with Andrew.
He knows exactly what he's done.
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
And you hear him there. Andrew denied the allegations and also attacked Giuffre's credibility. She died by suicide earlier this year. The last time a member of the royal family was stripped of their title was back in 1919 when Prince Ernest Augustus lost his title for siding with Germany in World War I.
San Diego FC is preparing for another first in franchise history. It's their first ever road playoff match. It's this Saturday in Portland. SDFC won their playoff opener 2-1 against the Portland Timbers. That was back on Sunday. Now, a win this weekend would send SDFC to the second round of the MLS playoffs. If they lose, Game 3 against Portland would be next Sunday, November 9th at Snapdragon Stadium. Go FC. That's your ABC 10 News Streamline. Everything you need to know for today in under 10 minutes.